Hello badminton fans and welcome to this Yonex Duora 33 badminton racket review, and this is racket test number 658. Okay, so we have another Duora here. We tested the LT2. There should be a link to that at the end of this video. We'll go through availability and price. Firstly, availability across the world is pretty good. We haven't seen any issues in anyone being able to get hold of these rackets in any particular area of the world, so it should be no problem. Price is certainly in the UK currently around the £60–70 mark at the time of making this video. So that's a reasonable price, competes with the Nano Flare 270 in that kind of range. In terms of specification, let's go through the specification of this racket and compare it to our own E-Zone testing. So it tells us that the weight of the racket is 4U. The E-Zone testing for this racket shows it to weigh 88 grams. The balance of the racket is even, so evenly balanced racket. The E-Zone testing shows its balance point to be head heavy, so just slightly head heavy, going towards the head a little bit, not a lot, compared to the LT, which is quite significantly more head heavy balanced. It only tells us that it's a very slim shaft. I think that's been the primary theme in these Duoras, the 2019 Duoras, is that the shaft is thinner than the previous Duoras. And this does look pretty thin, I have to say. You can see it there, it's pretty thin. Where was I? Yes, so the shaft stiffness on this racket, the E-Zone testing for it shows it to be a stiff shaft and stiffer, slightly stiffer, this shaft. Although it feels about the same to me, is slightly stiffer though, according to the machine, than the 10LT. Rightio. So the design of the racket, well, actually really nicely designed. I've got to say these bursts of orange and red, really effective on a backdrop of black gloss paint. It tells us here this is an isometric head and a dual optimum system. So again, what they've done now this year is they have forehand written here and here, so you would just hold this when you walk on court. You just hold this on your forehand, and naturally you take your forehand shots, and then the backhand would naturally fall to the backhand, and it's supposedly better. Didn't find it to be the case, to be honest, and even if it does work as a design, it still doesn't mean the racket performs well. So yeah, but I'll show you the close-up images of the design in a second. Let's just go through the maximum string tension here. 20, can't read that very easily. 24 pounds is what the E-Zone shows. 24 pounds. Yep. We have the UK grips at G4 in size, and this racket is made in Taiwan. Honestly, when I compare the make and build of this and the paint job of this compared to the Japanese, you and I would not be able to tell the difference. This is just in our minds that it must be better because it was made in Japan. I'm not saying Japanese manufacturing is awesome. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying, is there that much difference? I'm not in a position to say there is or not. I'm just saying, looking at it, feeling it, having used it, really difficult to be able to tell. Print quality amazing, finish amazing, everything about the racket as good as the 10LT, which is made in Japan, and they charge double the price for. Okay, so going back to the design, here is some close-up images. Take a look at the design and see what you think for yourself. Okay, so now we've been through the specifications, let's now move on to the racket E-Zone. Okay, so before we start our E-zone testing, what do you need to know about how we test our rackets? Well, first of all, we use the same shuttles, the Yonex AS30s on all tests. We re-string all of the rackets with Yonex BG65 at 25 pounds tension, and it's the same player taking all of the shots. Right, now you have some basic understanding of how we test. Let's move on to the smash test. The smash shot that you're seeing here, and for all of the rackets we've tested within Badminton Racket Reviews E-zone, we take generally 6 shots. We take the 2 highest racket shuttle speeds, and we average those to give us a overall speed. If those two readings are not within a certain percentage of each other, we then retake the entire test. This shot measures the shuttle speed coming off the racket head, and also if you go across to the E-zone, you'll see a picture similar to the one you're looking at on the screen now, which accompanies every single racket within the E-zone, so that's nearly 650 or more rackets, with this kind of smash JPEG showing you the racket head speed, the shuttle speed, the distance, and the approximate repulsion of the racket. Right, our first test in the E-zone is the smash test. Let's do it now. Okay, it's time now for a E-zone maneuver test. With the maneuver test, the player is based in a stationary position, the racket is still, and when the shuttle is fired, and we measure the incoming shuttle speed to make sure it's approximately accurate for all tests. The player then reacts, and we measure the reaction of the racket moving in an upward direction. And we're really looking to measure here the speed of the racket, how quickly it can change direction in a game. That's what this test represents, and also it represents aerodynamics of the racket. Okay, now we want to see how good this racket is at controlling the shuttlecock. Let's go across to the E-zone control test. The E-zone control test is a simple test. We've had a lot of comments about this test. The first thing you should know is that 14 shots in total are taken, not just what you see on camera. The player is aiming for the green bucket, which scores the highest. The grey bucket scores slightly less, and anything in the net or out scores nothing at all. Now, the same rules apply on this test as they do on any other court test. It's the same shuttle, it's the same strings, same tension, same player. Now we have retaken the test with the same rackets to see what kind of variation we get, and we generally find that the results are within 10 to 12% of each other. So the test is not that bad. And it is generally very hard to come up with a control test that's better than this. We've tried. But if any of you have any suggestions on how we should proceed with control tests in the future, please do give constructive answers that are helpful. Okay, so we've done the specification testing and also completed the E-zone testing and the extended court testing for E-zone members. And what we can conclude is, as with the 10LT, this really stiff shaft does make a difference to control. You do get decent control out of the racket, and from the back of the court, tight net drops, cross court net drops, no problem at all. However, there's not a lot else to say about it. I think if you're a singles player and you're considering a racket like this, it does give nice overhead shots. You do get good clears off this racket. That is it though. The Duora LT, similar scenario, could in the right scenario be good at driving and good control. This one good at overhead shots, makes them really nice and very easy. I always have a thing with that, personal thing, where I think that all rackets should make the most used shot in badminton the clear, easy as possible, but you just don't want to be doing a full, you don't want to be fully rotating every time you're clearing. That's just going to tire out everybody and put you out of position probably. So it makes those two things easy. Outside of that, defense, smash, drive, nowhere near the competition, nowhere near it. To be honest with you, even control, I said earlier, the stiff shaft makes it good for control, but actually there's loads of rackets that control just as good as this with a lot more flexible shaft. So I think for me what defines control is, or what helps a racket offer good control, is stability. It needs to be stable on impact. Loads of rackets at £70 are way better. To give you three from Yonex straight away, I would say the 270 Nano Flare, way better racket all round than this. You're going to enjoy using that racket way more than you're going to enjoy using this racket. The Nano Ray 7, I still prefer that to this. And if we're going to stick with the the Yonex thing, the Arc Saver 69, which we tested in 2018, I'm not sure if that's still available though, so it was a special edition racket. But there's loads of other rackets out there way better than this racket. It's just no way, with its only minor strengths, that we could possibly say use this racket. There's just too much out there that's better. So again, unfortunately for the Duora 33, it's got to be a thumbs down for doubles players, thumbs down for singles players. You're going to just get a lot better value out of a load of other rackets out there. The twos, if you're a Yonex fan, go for the Yonex Nano Ray Flare 270. If you're a leaning fan, the 3D Caliber 001. If you're a Victor fan, I can't think of anything. But if you are a Badminton Racket Review fan, then the Abros Venom, way better. The Nano 9900, better than this. The Apex Wave 10, better than this. You want to step up a little bit in price, okay. Or Adidas Spieler, better than this. You want to step up in price, let's go up in price to £100. Kawasaki King K9, Kawasaki Honor S6, Gravitas by Goosen, Inferno Plus by Goosen, Mizuno JPX. How many was that racket? 10? Off the top of my head, I can tell you are better than this. So forget about this racket. It's not going to do anything for your game. If you're using this racket and this is the only racket you've got in your bag right now and you love it to pieces, leave a review on the E-Zone. Let people know. Nobody's going to say anything to anyone who leaves a review, providing it's a review that's been left with the intention of being helpful. If you're not an E-Zone member, you don't know what the E-Zone is, there was a video tour following this video of the E-Zone. If you're not going to become an E-Zone member, then at least leave a review on any of our social media platforms, so people are becoming more informed. So we're building our own little community of players who are offering help to each other, and that's growing a lot year in, year out. 27,000 followers now on Instagram, and that's, we've only been on there for 18 months, 2 years now. So if you look into the future, there can be so many players going through this hub, and if we all start to contribute our views, I think it'll be helpful for all other people who are visiting, all players, to get and make better decisions when it comes to their main tool in badminton, which is their racket. And that's obviously for, I understand technique, I understand fitness, I understand movement, I understand coaching is all important, but we are here to focus primarily on the rackets. There are other people who focus on the coaching side, there are other people who focus on the technique side, there are other people who focus on, and you've seen those videos, they're out there. So I don't have anything else to say outside of thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the absolutely crazy amount of people coming in from so many parts of the world, places I didn't know badminton was played. You know, places I won't say because it may make me sound ignorant, but there are badminton is being played in more places than we thought across the world. We've had the emails, the text, the messages. Thank you so much for all of that, for all of the support that's being shown, all the love, the compliments, the criticisms, whatever it is. It's you. We see it as you taking part in building a community of people where we're genuinely out there to help each other. Thanks again. Do keep liking, do keep sharing, and we'll see you on the next video.